the incomparable. This is Mr. Ward, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Ward.
This is Mr. Ward.
Can we change that right away?
Can we change that?
Yeah, because I mean, Mr. Ward, that was the guy that worked with you about 40 years ago. So I'm Mark. Anyway, hi.
We've been chatting about this. I can't not call you Mr. Ward. I don't know how.
Okay, all right.
It's a thing. It's a thing. The chat is going nuts. They're saying hi, and the goal here is that we're just gonna chat and talk about the randomness questions that John Morgan likes to throw.
Good.
I promised John Morgan that I would totally lead with his question.
Okay.
Aside from me, what is your life's biggest disappointment?
Oh man. Oh, there's nothing more disappointing than.
Oh wow.
Man, that's wow. Holy crow. Boy, I've been so lucky. I haven't had a lot of big disappointments in my life. And this is a thrill. This makes up for anything that you did in high school. So
yeah, great.
This is incredible.
Oh, thanks, John. I appreciate it, buddy. That was good. I always like to do audio checks. Audio, how is it for you guys in the chat? Please let me know. And hopefully things should be okay. Nice answer. Eric's laughing. The room loves it. How are you, sir? This is crazy.
I know, this is so good. And thanks. I mean, it's nice to chat. And if there's several people listening in, I guess that's cool too. So thanks for inviting me. This is fun.
Yeah, we've been laughing how this is the interview I'm the most nervous for.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm nervous too, if that helps at all. I don't know. I mean, you've done these already. You're famous. You're the man.
I'm famous on bathroom stalls everywhere, as my wife reminds
me. I looked. As a matter of fact, I had a background all loaded up here because it didn't take long to find it. I was quite, just a second, see if I can call it up here for you. But it only took me about 20 seconds to find this. So you're famous. If you look for Mark Ward on the internet, you get some soccer player who was arrested for, I don't know, something. Anyway, anyway, here, this will look better. Okay, how's that?
Oh, it's so cheesy. Oh,
I don't know. Is there a resemblance except for the hairline? I don't know. Anyway.
Oh my God, no. That was I discovered Photoshop. That's what that was.
Well, good. It's worked out, So, yeah. Anyway, God. Oh, we're back.
Yeah. Thank you. Much less cheesy this way. Oh man. So yeah, the Templars. That's what they call themselves.
Yeah, very cool.
They went nuts with the questions, sir. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to kind of just jump right in.
Sure. I'll do my best.
A lot of them were really rad. I'm going to pull them up on my phone, so if you see me looking down, it's not that I'm texting out of sheer terror that this is going to go wrong.
Or boredom.
Or boredom. Let's see. Where are you here? Yes, the interview questions. So I'm not going to say who did it. I'll just read the questions randomly. Was DJ interested in any instruments other than guitar?
Okay, so for you people that out there, I didn't know DJ was a guitar player until, somewhere 2 years in, 3 years in. And he started talking about, I've been doing this stuff on guitar and I really want to show you. I've been working on my chromatics and listening to a band called Pantera. I just wrote DJ a couple of nights ago. We were talking about doing this, and I said my understanding and knowledge of metal begins and ends with Black Sabbath Paranoia, which is 1,000 million years ago. And anyway, so I knew DJ as a trumpet player. That's what he played in high school, and was a good trumpet player, good high school trumpet player. And it's I think he showed up at my door one day. Maybe not, anyway, with his guitar, and started playing these chromatics on guitar. And my jaw dropped. I said, wow, I mean, I didn't even know, this was a thing. I'm not into Pantera. And if I would turn it off if it came on, because I don't listen to that stuff. And I think you have to, like anything, the more you listen, the more you get into it and the more you hear. So I was amazed that DJ was playing anything besides trumpet, and that he was doing this, and doing it well.
Yeah,
so
Pantera was huge for me because I think you'll get this. It was the bravado. It was like, and the dude Dimebag could play guitar. Like he really could play guitar.
Well, yeah.
But it was just the and seeing them live was game over. That was it.
Yeah. And when was that? When did you see them live first?
It probably would have been like 2000.
Yeah.
Huh. It was like I've been bitten. That's it. That's what I'm going to do now. I saw this question and chuckled because I was like, other instruments. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
This is one for you. Somebody asks, what was the defining moment that got you into music education?
Man, I struggled for a long time. I wanted to play trumpet, and I heard all of the amazing people out there, and I was working at it, but not, I think people like you and other people who are the most successful players never stop to think, should I be doing this? They just do it because they love it and they don't consider doing anything else. I wanted to play trumpet. I knew I enjoyed music. I loved being in bands. Boy, if there was a defining moment, I think I remember going into my parents' room late one night because my dad was not a big, I'm going to be a musician fan. And I said to him, look, I thought about this a long time, and I'm going to still go to school because I thought that was a good idea, go to university, but I'm going to go study music. And he surprised me. He, thought about that for a while, and he said, yeah, well, okay, if that's what you're going to do, then go do it, but make sure you work at it. And boy, I don't remember what year that was. I could think back. But I went to school, and I guess I was hooked after that. I loved, being in the bands and conducting the bands and being part of that. And later, after I taught for 9 years, I went back to school thinking, I wonder, could I still do this? At that point, I think I thought to myself, I could go be a trumpet player in one of the kind of the B-level orchestras. I'd never be at the top level, but I could play in probably one of the, like junior B hockey or the second level down, and make a living at it. But the stuff that you get to play in those orchestras, I would have gotten bored. I'd be playing the same, 23 pieces for the next 30 years. And I'd still have to teach private lessons to make ends meet. And so I kind of gave up on that and thought, no, I'm just going to go teach. And I enjoyed it. And that's when it ended up out in Abbotsford and met all sorts of great people out there. And you.
Yeah. Hey, apply cold water to burn area.
Yes, exactly.
Well, the story I remember is like grade 7. I was still where we were at in this era of time. There wasn't a middle school yet. It was like it went grade 7 was the last year of elementary school, and that's when my mom signed me up for like the extracurricular band, and it was a weird thing. We didn't talk about it in my house. Nobody in my family tree played anything. So
yeah,
totally random. And and I picked trumpet. I remember specifically why I picked trumpet because I had this thought in my head was like, well, this dude plays trumpet, so maybe it'll be like an easy A or something.
And I picked up trumpet because my uncle played. Oh. So I knew it. That was the instrument I knew about. I bided my time because the director went through all of the different instruments, and I started on tuba, and he wanted a tuba player, but I fought him finally and got the trumpet because my uncle had one. And so there.
Oh, that's pretty nuts, man. Yeah, this is nostalgia just coming at me here right now. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Do you have a favorite artist or genre?
Um, I like horn bands. I like, I love Chicago. I like any of the groups that have horns in them, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I mean, that's what I was in high school with, and that was before, the dawn of time. But I mean, that's who I grew up listening to. So while you were listening to Pantera, around, what. Starting to listen to that stuff when you were in grade 7, that's what I was listening to around the same time, and that's what I gravitate to most. I listen to a lot of stuff, so I mean, I listen to some classical music. I love listening to big classical pieces with 150 piece orchestras with lots of brass and stuff. I think that's exciting. I listen to some jazz, a fair amount of jazz. But I guess if I was on a desert island and looking at my playlist, it would have, Chicago, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Who else? Lighthouse, Canadian band. Probably a little Sting in there because he always has horns in his bands. Anyway, people like that.
And Pantera.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's right. Second on my playlist.
Second to throw out.
Second somewhere. I don't know.
DJ ruined this band for me. Just throw it over there. A lot of the Templars, because I talk a lot about this whole thing is cool that I get to do, and there's guitars on my wall, and I toured around and played, and it's awesome. But
see, I've got these trumpets here.
Yeah, see. But for me, it all comes down to. Like Pantera made me want to do it at all, and made me, and it didn't matter how good I would be or wouldn't be at the instrument. It didn't matter because I had to do it. I had no choice. Yeah. Do you remember the time when I got the feverish just pitch for that band and I just wouldn't shut up about them?
I don't remember specifically, but I do remember hearing the name Pantera a lot, and then after that, Dimebag, and of course I completely misunderstood that.
Yes.
Being a high school teacher, what are you talking about now? Oh, it's okay. It's music. I guess that's okay. Anyway, but yeah, I remember you being very excited about them.
Yeah, I remember the things that if they had they used to have these home videos they would put out, which was just backstage antics.
Yeah.
And anything music related, I had to come and tell you right away. And most teachers that I had Mr. Faulkner teaching me Japanese or whatever, and they were just like, yes, I don't care, go conjugate the verbs or whatever. But I remember you showing genuine interest, being like, really? So they do that, do they? Yeah, or at least your acting was amazing at showing genuine interest.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, it's important. I mean, I think anybody that does, what you do, your level, has had some point, some excitement, some, like you say, hook that's come in and grabbed you. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please, go ahead, please.
Well, I was going to mention the other thing was I listened in high school. My dad always had music on, and his music was big band music from the 50s, 40s, and 50s. And so there was that kind of music, and we had a provincial exam I went to school in Quebec. And so we had a provincial exam our final year, and introduced me to a guy named Maynard Ferguson, who's a trumpet player. And he was a screech trumpet player, played higher notes and wonderful, real high energy band, but took the big band stuff. It wasn't your mother's or your father's big band anymore. Lot more electric guitars, electric basses in there too. So he was another person, and that style of big band I got excited about as a trumpet player, and tried to emulate him.
Oh, so yeah, was that considered rebellious then to do that?
rebellious. No. He was probably at the tail end of the big band era. There was big bands had made a little bit of a comeback, so they were being played in more places. And I got to see him live, like you got to see Pantera live, and that was a thrill. So.
Yeah, seeing Pantera live was a game changer. But I also remember seeing you in, I don't want to get this wrong. Is it Dixieland Jazz Festival?
Could be, yeah.
That's the one for me that I distinctly remember. That was like this is what I've said. I've said before in this in interviews or whatever about seeing you play there was like the I don't know what the word would be. But it was like seeing you unreleased, like you were able to just do whatever the hell you wanted to do, and you played the music that you wanted to play in the versions and the way that you wanted to do it. And I remember distinctly seeing you play "It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing."
Oh yeah, okay.
And you shared the vocal part, and I remember going like, "Oh, so that's what it means to actually play what you want to play." Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, no, it's really important to be able to do that, and to have your own. Well, there's something more there than just playing the notes and the rhythms, right? You're enjoying what you're doing, and hopefully that comes across. You could describe that in different ways. Some people call it intensity, and you'll see somebody playing, and they're incredibly intense, and they're in the moment, and they're doing it, and you get sucked in or drawn into what they're doing, and it's very powerful.
Yeah. It really was. It really was. And you used to tell a story, unless I'm completely forgetting this, but you used to tell a story about somebody that could play trumpet and sing out the side of their mouth or something. Was that?
Oh, I don't know. There was somebody that hums and plays. There's a couple of people that do that. Yeah. They hum one note and play another. Although if you look up, there's currently, and I haven't seen her sing and play, but and talk about joy and energy and just loving what you're doing. And I'll pronounce her name wrong, but you can find her on YouTube, and different style of music again, but she plays jazz and sort of Dixieland, and we'll play 3 trumpets at the same time. And her name is Carling. I'm going to mess it up. Carling Grunhilde. It's not like Brunhilde, but it's something like that. While we're talking, I'll try and see if I can find it. Anyway, she exudes that just absolute joy about what she's doing. So
100%. That's craziness.
Yeah.
A weird one for you. What was the quintessential, like? I know personally, me with guitar playing stuff, I was like, oh man, I actually was able to play this piece or this material, or I learned this move, or I got included in this thing. Is there something that happened with you for trumpet? Because I have a story I'll tell after, but I'm curious what your like something that just made you go, yeah, I play trumpet.
Boy. Just different things, I think. Boy, I can't think of one particular incident. I remember finishing a couple of solos, different times, different jobs we were playing, and turning, and somebody might, look at you and kind of nod, and you knew it was more than just, it was, and I felt good about that. So those instances happen, and occasionally, when you get to sit in with players, and I encourage everybody to do that. If you're looking at it, find a way to play with people who are way better than you are, and just being there and taking it all in. And then afterwards, occasionally you think, I did okay there. I fit in for a minute, or whatever. I wish I could come up with a specific incident. Go ahead.
But see, that's what I was gonna say, was that attitude that you, because like to a much lesser degree, I'm an educator now too, but to a much lesser degree, I've been made aware, for good and for bad, the nonchalant things that you say off the cuff that actually get embedded in the student. Like for example, that comment you said about always try and be like, I'm a little crasser, the shittiest player in the room is kind of like what you're saying. Like, yeah, be the crappy one so you learn more. That's been my whole vibe learning guitar this whole time. Like, who can I get to teach me? Who's the best there is? I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to throw a bunch of money at it, and I didn't have any money, so that made it hard. But like, whoever I could get to help me learn, I would just always. And you're the person I got that from, because you were like, you should do this.
Yeah, go out and do it. Absolutely, and make it happen. And that's what successful people do. They make an opportunity, find opportunities, they find ways to do it, And I haven't spent a lot of time with any one amazing, like, let's say top, you're working with, sorry, remind me again, your teacher.
Chris Broderick.
Yeah, who's top level, like top, 5%? And I haven't, I've worked with some people and listened to some people, but not over a long period of time. But I always found a way to go to workshops, or so-and-so's in, Edmonton. Oh, it's 6 hours away from me, but I'll find a way to get there because I can drive there. I don't have to fly to Los Angeles to hear them. And yeah, make the most of those opportunities. Take them when you can. There's one I'll tell you that I missed, that I'm sad. And I mean, a bunch of people from school. I was going to school in London, Ontario. And some on a late Friday or Saturday night, after several adult beverages, somebody called the principal trumpet player, one of the best orchestral trumpet players in the whole world, who lived in Chicago. And, and through who knows what the conversation was, they said, well, we just really appreciate what you're doing. And he said, well, you should come down to a concert sometime. And I don't remember if it was an 8-hour drive. I didn't go, but about 8 of my friends went, and he met them backstage and he talked to them for about 2 hours before the concert. And this is the best guy in the world. Would be charging equivalent of, I don't know, $300, $500 an hour to take a lesson. Back then, it wasn't that much, but the equivalent today. And they all went and met with him. I mean, what an incredible experience. And I don't remember why I couldn't go, but, still regret not taking that time to go do it. Go
Ouch.
make the best of those. Sorry, that sounds like I'm I don't know. Anyway.
Well, that's true though. Like, so many of us are scared to make any kind of a leap at all. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, no, it's hard. And yes, and I will be and have been the worst in the room, but but I got a little better.
That's been my problem is anytime I think I'm good, I look at my friends and I go, damn it.
Yeah.
Chris just posted a video. James asks, did you see the spark in DJ to be a great teacher?
I don't know about teacher. I knew DJ was going to, go places. He still does. He's outgoing. He's determined, and you could see that. He asks questions. There's so many people that don't ask questions, and you wish they would, because that shows that they're thinking and that they're engaged in what you're doing. I mean, and the other thing that I think I noticed about you was your determination. And if there's anything that you could teach at school that would help people be better at what they're doing, it would be to be determined, or be don't give up, whatever the adjective is that describes that. You just go after something and you keep doing it until you're satisfied that you've done it enough, or until you go on to other things. But if we could teach that determination and drive and stick-to-itiveness somehow at school, people, we'd be more successful at teaching. Although all of those things I don't think are taught. They're if you've got it, they're in here and you work on it. Like how many hours did you spend doing those chromatics? And
well, it helps that girls don't talk to you. That helps. that was great. I always talk about my wife on this channel because like I busted my acid guitar because I thought it would it impresses women is the lie that it tells all of us.
That's why I play trumpet. Yeah.
And like my wife doesn't give a shit, dude. She doesn't care at all. I'm like, oh, look at this thing that I could do. She's like, yeah, the dishes are still in the sink.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
Yep.
It's brutal. But someone just say I just think I'm stubborn. That's my thing.
Good. Let's teach that. If there's a way to teach it, and it's hard, but how do you teach people, not be jerks about it, not be assholes about being stubborn, not that kind of stubborn, but just, in here, I'm going to do this until I get it right. Or anyway.
Yeah. Lena's asking if I was into any other instruments in band class aside from the trumpet.
Boy, I don't remember. You would know better than me. Did you play a little bit of something else in jazz band ever, or?
I distinctly, now that I'm an adult, I remember you allowing me to play like 16 bars on the drum set just to shut me up so I would go back to the trumpet. I'm very well aware that's what happened.
Well, I think that's good. That was why anyway, like, you got to let them try. My son is a drummer. He's out in Vancouver right now, actually, and playing drums. He was a trombone player in high school. And I didn't push. I didn't say, like, you're going to play in the band and you're going to play trombone. Mostly his choice, I guess. I think his mom snuck in a couple of nights and said, anyway. But that's what he did. He said, hey, Dad, it's lunchtime. Nobody wants to sit with me and have lunch. No, he didn't do that. But can I play the drums? I said, sure, here's some sticks. Go ahead. Not hurting me. And he's not going to hurt the drums. Do you want to try flute? Sure. Here's a flute. I've only got half an hour at lunch. Here you go. Now you're on your own. If you want to go try that, because you don't know what's going to stick. Yeah. I mean, as a parent, you keep throwing stuff at your kids and hoping they'll find something that they like. Same thing with musicians. I'm glad we didn't have any bagpipes in the band room, but
$10 says it would have been me playing them because they're obnoxious. Absolutely obnoxious. Look, this is the part of the interview I don't want to ask, but they're not going to forgive me if I don't. They want to hear whatever embarrassing story you can muster.
Oh, man.
It's cool. Let's just pretend you don't have any. Let's just do that.
Yeah, I don't. I remember watching you do stand-up, and we talked about this. There was a talent show at the school, and there was people singing and playing piano and doing who knows what else. And you signed up to do a stand-up routine, and I don't remember. It was sort of not America's Got Talent. What was the show that was on then? Because Simon was on it at that point too. Anyway, whatever show it was.
Just American Idol, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, there we are sitting, and DJ comes out into the spotlight in the audience. It's all dark. And I don't know if it was embarrassing for you, but man, I was so nervous, because you don't want anybody up there to fail. And I don't think you did. It was okay. And I couldn't tell you any of the jokes that you told that night, or any of the stories, whatever. But I remember watching you and feeling nervous, really nervous for you. I wish I could tell you that, I don't know, you came back from the bathroom with a piece of toilet paper hanging off of your shoe or something. But man, sorry. Were you at the school when the tennis courts flooded and they took boats with some canoes out in the tennis courts?
Yes.
And that's not embarrassing for you, but that's one of the things I remember happening at school.
It was crazy. I remember the first inclination of touring I ever had was with you, because we would hop on the Greyhound buses and go to like Alberta and play other schools or the West End Mall or something. And I remember thinking like, I grade 9. I don't know how old you are in grade 9. Chad, help me out if you guys know, but like, I just remember going, this is pretty sweet. And there's people that do this all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I got the bug for it.
Yeah. Not in, So you went from touring in the high school bus, which was, you know, a $200,000 Prevost, to your van that you were.
Yes. And I wouldn't change it, man. It was something.
Yeah.
We got to see, we saw this whole country in that shitty Chevy Astro.
Oh, man. Yep.
The smells.
Oh, I don't, yeah.
Oh, man. No, they're asking here opening jokes. So a band instructor walks into a bar with a bagpipe. That's funny, Mr. Wright. I think the thing about the stand-up was everyone kind of expected me to play trumpet or something. I think that was the thing. And then I was like, no, I'm going to try this random thing I've never done before.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I got another question for you here. Let me load her up. The biggest one, I like to try and save this one's kind of silly. It was when it was obvious to you that I was into Pantera. Was it terrifying to watch it happen?
Terrifying for me because I was afraid you would ask me for some advice about the music, and I have no clue. You know, anyway, just wasn't my thing. No, and really, I should have gone out and started listening more just to see what was going on, to find out what was. So, no, that's a type of music. Everybody has one, I think, a type of music that they go, I'm not sure I get that, and thanks, I'll do that later.
Yeah.
And I mean, even still today, it's not. I already said it's not on the top of my playlist. Mind you, neither is opera. I don't listen to opera, and people say, yeah, you should listen to this. And I'll go, okay, yeah, after a minute, I need to go. But no, I don't remember anything else about you loving Pantera. I was just honestly, and this is going to sound so sucky, but I mean, it's always cool when somebody comes into the classroom and is excited about something, right?
Yeah, because I would imagine, because there had to be like 30 plus people in the band class, right? There had to be.
Yeah. I think there was, at least closer to 50, I was going to say, but yeah.
And I would imagine downright monotonous at times. Like, all right, tune. All right, you do drummer, stop noodling. Yeah, okay, thing. But like, if nobody was ever excited about anything ever, what the hell would be the point?
No, and I think that's one good thing about band is at least most of the people are there because they want to be, or at least, it's not like, okay, you have to go to math class. There's always a portion of the math class that would rather be anywhere else. But in band, you get to choose that. So, even if you're not fully engaged in it, there's a better chance that you're, enjoying it. And hopefully, and as a teacher, hopefully you're making it, somewhat enjoyable to go through. Not every second.
I used to skip math class to go hang out in the band room. I understand that's like a weird thing to do, but yeah. Mr. Wright is asking what is currently on your playlist.
I got a whole bunch of things here. Let me look. What I said, some of the horn bands, but also a trumpet player from Chilliwack originally, who's doing really well. And she plays Dixieland trumpet. Her name is Bria Skonberg. And she's, one of the Dixieland players in New York right now. And so she's on my playlist. Currently, I've got SpongeBob the Musical on my playlist because the high school here is doing the show, and I may get to play in the pit. I don't always get to do that because, they use high school musicians, which is great. But because of the interruptions and whatever due to COVID, they haven't been playing as much. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they need somebody to play. So that's on my playlist. Man, what else? A trumpet player named Blue Mitchell I've been listening to a lot. And whenever my one son is home, he's going to school in Lethbridge, but he comes home every once in a while. And if we're out doing errands, then he always gets to pick what's playing on the radio or, what's streaming from his phone. And I couldn't give you a name of anything right now, except for, and I hate to say it, but, I just lost it. But he listens to Drake and that kind of stuff. So I don't have any of that on my playlist, but I've been hearing it regularly.
Is there ever a moment where you just go, essentially, I'll stop trying to be current and just whatever makes its way to me makes its way?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, at some point, and I used to listen way more when I was going to school to university. I mean, you come home from university classes and I put on tunes, and not just put them on in the background, but sometimes sit down and really listen to them. The way that you listen, or the way that anybody that's studying. I mean, okay, what's he doing right there? He's going from this note, and I thought it was chromatic, but he skipped this note. And unless you're really listening, you don't hear that. But after teaching for a while, I found I was doing that less because you just want to break, from. Anyway, is there a time where I just shut down and don't want to listen? Was the question?
More so like you mentioned, your one son comes home and listens to Drake or something like that. Yeah. Are you just like, I don't know who's a current artist, nor do I care if it makes
no sense? I don't. I quit. I mean, if Jeopardy comes on and it's number one hits from anything after 2000, no clue.
We had RVP, who's a famous drummer. He plays with lots of groups. He used to play with Devin Townsend, we talk about Devin Townsend a lot on this channel. I hope you've discovered who that is. If not, I will send you some links. Please do.
I'll listen. I promise I'll listen once. I do that. I mean, after, I don't know. Anyway,
it's pretty amazing. But he was talking about tinnitus, and I wondered if that was if that's a thing you had any like words of wisdom on, or you wanted to discuss.
Man, I'm so lucky. I've lost a lot of hearing. I've lost at least 30% in my right ear over the years, and that's partially from just being in front of bands all the time. Better band rooms that are designed for big ensembles are less damaging, but they're still damaging. And you probably know too, it's not like you have to be around 120 decibels all the time. It's cumulative over the day. So if you're listening to 90 decibels regularly or for extended periods of time over the day, you'll lose hearing and get tinnitus. And I mean, I have a trace, like maybe 1%, and it doesn't bother me. I mean, I can't hear it right now, but it's there. And you just have to be really careful. My son, the drummer, started wearing ear protection when he was just after high school. And I mean, you have to do that or lose it. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah, for us, it was in Without Mercy, the band that I play in. It was the biggest fear was that we thought it was from playing live, and apparently the greatest source of hearing loss is during recording. It's not even during live. You don't even suspect it.
Well, and yeah, it depends on the room, right? If you're in a small room, all of that sound pressure, I don't know, it's compressed, it's denser, I guess. I don't know. I haven't looked at the scientific studies, but that makes sense to me.
Yeah, a lot of people I respect have been like, yeah, get some freaking ears. I spent a lot of money on those people that put the stuff in your ear. And
I did that in Abbotsford. I was playing in a R&B band, and the loudest band I've ever played with. And man, I came out of there sometimes, and I didn't have a lot of ringing in my ears. I did have it just felt like pillows, like, people would be looking at you, and that's exactly what I heard. So that puff. I will tell you, I was doing a show in Lethbridge one night. We were playing a show, a musical called The Music Man. Mm-hmm. And one of the actors, I was in the pit playing trumpet. One of the actors came in excited. I just bought a new gun. Okay, great. I don't know a lot of people that buy new guns, but it's a 38. It's a revolver. Do you want to go out and do some target practice? So I said, oh, well, okay, that sounds like fun. I haven't shot a lot of guns, but I'll go do that. So we went out and shot this gun, no hearing protection, and 5 shots, and all I can hear is, that's my ears. So 2 hours later, 3 hours later, I go to do the show, and all I can hear is, and I said to the conductor, if I'm playing wrong notes, would you look at me or throw something? Because I can't hear myself at all. And that was the only time I really had bad tinnitus. Anyway, halfway through the show, one ear was a semitone lower than the other, and it was just vibrating like this. But I made it through somehow, and I'm sure I damaged my hearing that day. So there, don't go shooting guns without hearing protection.
Oh, my goodness. Oh my god, that's a stand-up joke I heard a comedian say once. He's like, there's only a certain grade of gun you should get for home defense because, there's a flash, then nothing.
Yeah. Well, and you laugh at all the cop shows now, because they fire off 30, 40 rounds, and then they start talking to each other. Are you okay? Like you wouldn't hear anything.
Exactly. Are you okay? Yes, it's about 3:30.
Yeah, that's right.
James wants to know, who do you consider to be the greatest musician alive or dead?
Oh man. Let's see. Greatest musician. Okay, trumpet players? Because I don't think you can pick. It's so hard. You have to pick categories, right? Like, okay, so I could name off, Maynard Ferguson is a great trumpet player. Doc Severinsen is a great trumpet player. Clifford Brown is a great jazz player. Those are all trumpet players. Let's see. Musicians. Leonard Bernstein, or if I might be messing his name up because I forget if it's Bernstein or Bernstein. But anyway, the guy that conducted the New York Philharmonic for a long time, he's amazing and wrote a whole bunch of amazing music. I like Sting's songwriting. I think Burton Cummings is an amazing singer. I will listen to him and the Guess Who frequently. Sure. Let's see, who else? Man, that's a tough question. Number one, boy, I don't think I could pick one person that's, the greatest musician of all time. And there's so many, and you keep finding out about them. One of the horrible things about YouTube is people say, have you heard of this amazing trumpet player who's been around for 40 years? And nope, I've never heard of them. How does that work? And they're unbelievable. How come I haven't been listening to this guy or this guitar player who released 3 independent CDs in Tasmania? There's so many incredible musicians out there.
I agree, and that's actually been my problem on the channel is the hate comments come in that I don't know who originally composed the song 45 years ago. Like the biggest one was this band called Home Free, who's an a cappella style group. They're absolutely amazing, but they did their own rendition of American Pie, and then they got Don McLean to come in.
Yeah.
I didn't know Don McLean wrote the song.
Oh, yeah.
As a 38-year-old Canadian who listens to death metal, sorry, guys, didn't know who wrote the song American Pie. I'm sorry. And that was just awesome. They're like, this is not a real music teacher. He just sits in his mom's basement eating meatloaf. And I'm like, all right, that's weird. It's a very weird parallel you drew there. First of all, have you tried my mom's meatloaf?
Yeah.
I'm curious if you. I'm not sure how to phrase this question, so bear with me. But I'm curious the day that you discovered that I was in a death metal band, and what was the? Were you just like, yeah, or were you like, what the fuck?
You mean like after school? So we haven't seen each other for years and years, and something came up on Facebook, or I don't know if you reached out and said, "Hey, Mr. Ward, I'm in this band," and I don't remember. That was within the last 8 years, let's say.
Yeah, because we didn't start playing until 2010, so that sounds about right. Yeah, and I graduated in 2001, so yeah, about 9 years at least.
Yeah.
But
so what did I think?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know how to phrase it, so I'll just leave that with you.
Yeah, no, I think my first thought was, yeah, that makes sense to me. Good for you. And as I found out more, as a matter of fact, I think you told me when you were touring through, maybe not here the first time, because that didn't happen until I was aware of you at that point for a couple of years. But you must have been going through Calgary or Edmonton, and I couldn't get there. But I knew that you were traveling back, touring back, at least, back east somewhere and then through again. And no, I don't know if I wasn't surprised is the right word, or that made absolute sense to me. And I thought, yeah, good for you.
Yeah, it was, I remember of all the people I wanted to know, it was you.
Yeah, well, cool. No, that was me. I was trying to find a picture because we have a picture of when you were here that time. Somebody took, I don't know if it was my son or whatever, but anyway, both,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good times. It was, It's been really surreal. Even this whole YouTube thing has become a very surreal experience. This whole thing started because my wife was like, I am sick of you telling me what key that song is in. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you see that? That was so cool though. He went to, no, I don't know what a Phrygian is, and I just want to go to the fridge. Leave me alone.
Yes.
So I started this, and these wonderful people that are in the live chat right now, and they're just all so about listening to us discuss music, and this all really honestly started with what you showed me in grade 7,
which was music. You mean? Yeah.
I mean, all those countless years of like just reading trumpet sheet music, and even now I have so many students that are in their own school bands or jazz bands needing help and assistance, and I'm like, cool. Yeah, I got you. Been there.
Yeah. Well, and it's good that you can share, because I'm sure there's people out there like your student the other day, and who are saying, hey, I'm struggling a little bit. I kind of like this and I really want to do it, but I need some help. And now there's so many places you can get that. Some scary places, but a lot of places, that you can say, hey, look, I need some help, and get some really valuable advice or good ideas.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the internet has been like one of the coolest things is this meme I saw. I wish I made it. I want to take credit for it, but it wasn't mine. It was, I look back and I think of all the people in my life I got out of music and who wouldn't be there. And to think I traveled so much, Mr. Ward, because of this. Yeah. And I remember trying to get in touch with you the day we got signed. I wanted to tell you.
Yes, well, and I remember reading that. That was so cool. Well, but there's been a few other things like that too along the way for you, and it's so neat. I just, congratulations.
Well, thanks. I just getting signed was like the bullseye for me. I wanted that for so long, and now it's been nice. Jackson has picked me up. Wonderful guys over at Jackson Guitars and doing great things, and Ernie Ball Strings, and life is good. But,
yeah.
It all kind of started playing trumpet in grade 7, so there's that. There's that. Is there any advice that you would just want to toss to anyone that wants to hear? Anything that's like your years of doing stuff, anything at all?
Man. Wow. Well, I mean, we talked about it at the beginning. If you see something, go try it out. In most cases, what's the worst that can happen? If you're, if you get an opportunity to do something you haven't done before, find out about it. And if it scares the shit out of you, then, do as much work as you can in a short period of time, but then still go try it out. It's not, free climbing tall mountains. Maybe you should work a little before you go do that. But, man, like, look at you. Who would have guessed? And if you had written out a plan 30 years ago, would it have looked like what it is today? Like,
No.
I don't know. All of those things you learn a little bit. Anyway, I sound like my father or my grandfather or something here. Just go try it.
That spawned this question. What is the newest thing you're trying right now?
Oh, okay. Hey, let's see. I tried pickleball. That hardly sounds like. Anyway. No, I've just started on Duolingo, learning Chinese, Mandarin.
That is awesome.
Yes. So, ni hao.
Ni hao ma.
Yeah.
That's all I know. I know sheshe.
Sheshe. Yes.
That's such a coincidence. I've been regarding on this channel how I just started learning Russian.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay.
Which is a lot of fun. My wife is not a fan that I've learned to say my old wife is in a box because my new wife is in the ocean. And then my wife says, "Don't say that," and I just answer with, "Where's the box?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still married somehow.
That's because you have a room alone away from everything else and you can lock yourself in there.
Yes.
Talk to other people.
And 2 hours a day I'm allowed out, she says.
Nice. Yeah, as long as the meds are in. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Ward, I don't want to keep you, sir, but thank you so much for jumping in on this with us.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you. I mean, all the best. I'm amazed. Congratulations. I'm not amazed. I am, whatever. I'm so happy that you've done what you've done and it's worked out and you're successful at what you're doing. And I wish you even more success.
Well, thank you, sir. It's I don't feel successful yet, but I'm working on it.
Well, and maybe that's one of the things you don't, I don't know, you keep going and then you only recognize how successful you've been when you look back a bit, right? Anyway.
That's the kicker. Stubbornness and not giving up. Mostly stubbornness.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, good. All the best to the Templars. I hope this keeps going. And thanks for letting me blither on here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And if you're willing, they are asking several times for it to not be the last, pretty please.
Well, let's see. I'll go practice some more Mandarin and we can do this in various and sundry other languages next time.
But it'll all be that basic. There is an apple in the park.
Yes, exactly. Or, mi abuela es donde la aspiradora, which is Spanish for my grandmother is in the vacuum cleaner, I think. But anyway, that's...
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Ward, and have a great night.
You're welcome, Mr. Temple, and I thank you very much for all. Take care. Best of luck.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.